the all agency owners who is coming in the marketplace, they also want to scale up their agency business. I have an agency of done for you podcasting, somebody have a funnel agency, somebody have a Facebook ads agency. What is the thing that they implement in the system in their agency to scale it 10x level? Would you like to share the strategy that you applied on LinkedIn to hit the 2 comma club milestone? If you can break down the step 1, step 2, step 3 that you implemented on LinkedIn to achieve this milestone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. This is where we interview entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants who are expert in their niche. And in this amazing series today, we have one of the super awesome guests with us, and his journey is quite interesting and inspiring. Like, he started his journey as a insurance selling. He started selling insurance, and he earned times 2 Comma Club award, and he is a former co-founder of and investor at Click and he grew up a mortgage company to top 10 in USA. He worked directly with the Frank Kern as a head of business development. Guess like the level of knowledge and wisdom he have with him. Become an advisory on Facebook ads platform, and he also started an analytic company and onboarded founder of Google Analytics. So without further ado, let's have Joey Rizzo on the stage. Hi, Zoe. Joey.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's honor to have you host an interview with you. Super. So, Joy, can you share your backstory? Like, how did you got started into online marketing? Like, you did a lot of things like insurance, mortgage, then work with the Francon, then a lot of different things. So, can you share your backstory? Like, how exactly you got started into this world?
Absolutely. So, if the online world, different than my entrepreneurial journey, was I just knew, like, I went to college forever just because I didn't want a job. I just kept saying, if I just keep extending my college, it was dumb, but I just kept going. And I was, at the time, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I just knew I didn't want a normal 9-to-5 job. So my brother had introduced me to insurance, and he's like, hey, you can still go sail the world and go do all the things that you want to do. And this job, you can make the money you want to make. You're your own boss. You got, it's not salary. So it's the closest thing. I can do this right out of college. And I said, because, going in knowing that's what I wanted to do, it actually dates back to like even early in college. I was like, man, I wanted to do something but not have a normal job. So I got into insurance, but it was, they teach you a warm market. Hey, go ask friends and family, then referrals. And then once you run out of that, it's like, okay, even if you did a good job, not everyone wants to talk about insurance. So, and I wasn't great at getting referrals. I did a good job, and I was great once I was in front of people, but I hated the calling part. I hated the cold calling, the asking for referrals. And so that was kind of the start of it. So we looked into it, like, at the time in 2000, this is 2004. So there wasn't a lot of lead companies offering leads back then. So we looked at, how can we create something that people fill something out? So we started trying to create insurance leads. I found some that were basically like dead leads, and I could call them, and I at least could say, hey, that like you were online looking for insurance. And so that's kind of my start of it. And I was like, man, if I could just get in front of people that want it versus trying to go find them. I hated the cold calling. So that's really how the whole online thing started. And then I got into mortgages. And I said, oh, you don't have to cold call at all. This is 2004, 5. The bubble hadn't hit yet in the mortgage industry. So everyone, rates were dropping and everyone was refinancing. And they said I wouldn't have to cold call. And while I was getting my license, the first company that said, here you go. And they literally, I keep it back here. They handed me a phone book. I said, just start calling. Anyone you call needs a mortgage. And I was like, this can't be it. I didn't think I had to cold call. So I ended up getting my license, and I left that company. But one thing I did before I left was I met someone that said, look, this is how you do it. We do marketing. We get the phone to ring in. When the phone started ringing in, we were just closing deals. So how do we do that? And so it started with direct mail, and then we moved right away into online. We said, I had someone create, we were doing reverse mortgage at the time. I had someone create a really long website. And like, don't worry, this will be good for SEO. It was super long, but it had every keyword inside of the the URL. So that's kind of how I got started. I was like, okay, that's when I realized, what we need is marketing. We need marketing. If we can get people to talk to, we'll do well. And so we started with online right there. So how do we get people? We didn't know they were called lead magnets. I didn't know what they were called, but we created a book. And at the time we were doing reverse mortgages, and we actually borrowed it from someone else and said, hey, can we use this online? It was basically how to avoid the pitfalls of reverse mortgage, how to not get scammed. And so we figured if someone was ordering a book, how to not get scammed, they must be interested in the product. And so that's what we did. We'd follow up, say, hey, did you get the book? No, not yet. Okay, what questions could I answer for you? And so we went from there. We were only in California. And then from there, we were able to meet up with a bank, and the bank said, hey, we can absorb you, somewhat buy you at that time. They said they can, and from there we can go, and you can go nationwide. So we went from being like top 10 in California to having the opportunity to do marketing nationwide. And that's how we blew up. We just had our online marketing, and all of a sudden we went national, and we became number 6 behind Bank of America, Wells Fargo, MetLife. Those are the top 3. And then we were like number 4, 5, or 6, somewhere in that range. And that was it. That's how I started the online. Then from there, went to go work with Frank Kern. That's the start of it.
That's really powerful thing. That's one of the very interesting and quite inspiring as well. Like at point of time, you have this one thing in your mind, like, I don't want to talk with dead leads. I don't want to go with the cold calling. But even with all of this thing in your mind, you started with this. You grow rapidly with your in everything, in like insurance, in mortgage, and then you got opportunity to work with the Frank Kern and all. So, what while this transitioning is happening from selling insurance to starting your own mortgage company, what was the lesson did you learn from this transition?
I think the biggest lesson I learned, and Frank really opened my eyes to this, but is you're not a mortgage company, you're not an insurance company, you're not a chiropractor, you're a marketing company that does chiropractic. You're a marketing company that does mortgages. Once I realized that, and Frank could look at any company, and I learned so much. I did over 1,000 consultations. I met with, at the time Frank talked about it, Alex Ramosi was one of his clients. Sam Lovins was one of his clients. Sam Lovins, these were the names of 2015 and 16. These guys were still coming up, and I was able to work with them. It was pretty interesting. I didn't know a thing about funnels, but what I saw was the belief and how leads were coming in. I was watching it. I said, man, if everyone had this system, it'd be phenomenal. So I think my belief in it was part of it. And then just the realization that, every business is in sales and marketing. I don't care how good your restaurant is, word of mouth gets you so far. I don't care how good a chiropractor, dentist you are, word of mouth only gets you so far. So when you start just take a look at it, every company is a marketing and sales company that does X. Then that's when my whole mind shift switched at that point.
Yeah, that's a very interesting fact that yes, business is all about like, if we really wanted to grow our business, it's marketing and sales is one of the key important area to grow. And you believe, and I believe, everybody is believe, because I'm also into marketing, I'm also doing sales and all of this thing for my business. So everything was marketing, and you just mentioned. So can you elaborate on this and explain how this realization shape your approach to business? Like, how exactly did you got this realization that everything is of marketing when you are in this zone of working and all?
Yeah, so I think how I got there was just part of it was Frank, but you didn't realize that we were doing this stuff. I think it was the struggle of I wanted to do the business so bad. I actually really liked mortgages. We grew up to 100+ people. It wasn't that I didn't like selling. It wasn't that I didn't like the product. Same thing with insurance. I believe in it. Still to this day believe in it. But at the time I didn't know how to get it. So like I'm not the only one out there that's probably really good at what they do or really likes what they do, but doesn't have enough people to talk to. Right. And I got scammed. I mean, when we were growing our mortgage company, we had guaranteed leads, guaranteed appointments. This was again 2004, 5, and 6, where people were starting some online stuff.
Yeah.
And I think at the time it's a lot of money for us as a company. We dropped $10,000 into different marketing programs to try it, and it was like leads were horrible. Like they were being called by 30 other mortgage companies, right? So it was the fastest buffering. Oh, there we go. So I think for me, it was realizing that we needed to am I still here?
Yeah. Some network issue was there, but
Yeah.
yeah, all good.
I think for me, it was realizing that you need to control the marketing. You have to actually own it. You can go hire an agency. You can go hire somebody. I'm not opposed to any of that stuff, but at some point, you got to own it. You got to know what's behind it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you won't know who to hire, what to hire for. You don't have to know everything, but you have to have a good understanding of it so you know what's in place, so you can start to see what's working, what's not. You as a business owner, no one's going to care for it as much as you. So even an agency that you hire, you know that company. So you got to know the basics of marketing in order to do really well in your company.
Hmm. Hmm. So true. And in order to achieve this all the goals, how we can realize that, if I can ask you this, when just you mentioned this thing, so nowadays the all agency owners who is coming in the marketplace, they also want to scale up their agency business. Like I have an agency of done for you podcasting, somebody have a funnel agency, somebody have a uh, ads agency, Facebook ads agency. What is the thing that they implement in the system in their agency, so to scale it to 10x level or to on next level?
I think the one thing they got to, and again, if you take a look at me, like where I failed, I can say this is a personal branding, right? And I think
Yeah.
you see people out there that they realize branding later, and I was one of those that you mentioned to me like, Joe, I can't find you on Facebook, I can't find you on Instagram,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
were areas where I've definitely fallen, but I've been able to make up for that with, hey, because when I owned my mortgage company, it wasn't after my name, it was the mortgage company, so I marketed the mortgage company.
Hmm.
When I worked with Frank, it was Frank's company. So it was, but it was the idea. So I didn't ever get behind personal branding, and I waited too long. So I think part of it's that getting your brand out there. I think the other part is everyone looks at what someone else doing. I got to do that, right? As opposed to like just understanding the strategy and then figure out what works for you, right? Like you're doing podcasting, and others might be doing podcasting as well. But what's your strategy? How is it going to be different? How is it uniquely you versus what everyone else is doing? And it's good to get a mentor because they're going to help you, guide you, and help you avoid the pitfalls. But when I was coming up, to give you a quick example, there was everyone teaching a Facebook ad strategy, and they would tell you all the different things that work. But it's what worked for them in that flash of a pan. It's what worked for them because it was their agency. It worked for them because in 2012, we ran some mortgage ads, and everyone said, don't do video views. Video views are just cheap views. I was running video views and turning those into leads. We were getting
Yeah.
10 views and like under dollar leads with video view campaigns. So I always say try things, figure out what works for you. Follow a mentor that's going to help you avoid the pitfalls, but it doesn't mean you have to copy everything they're doing. Be uniquely you, and that's going to help you stand out. Because everyone is going after leads, and then it's right now it's sliding into the DMs, right? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the different ways, and the outreach, and like, hey, how can we do that? And so if that's working, great. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm also saying like make it uniquely you. What can be different that can make it you? Find a way to have that be you. And for me, it's that was what we did. We got into LinkedIn before everyone was doing LinkedIn. It's one of the ways that we grew our agency to multiple 7 figures was LinkedIn before everyone was doing LinkedIn. Everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
don't do LinkedIn. It's just for resumes. And we built a whole B2B platform and business off of that and did really well. It was one of our 2 common clubs was off of just we did several million from that business just from LinkedIn.
Wow, that's beautiful. Would you like to share the strategy that you applied on LinkedIn to hit the 2 comma club milestone?
Yeah, it's going to sound like every other strategy now because now it's very similar. So we were doing outreach, right? So we were doing.
If you can break down the steps, like step 1, step 2, step 3 that you implemented on LinkedIn to achieve this milestone.
Absolutely, yeah, and I will say it's not new now, but in 2017, 18, a lot of people weren't doing it. People were starting to do it, but we were just using things like Sales Navigator, finding our ideal targets, and then reaching out, and we were doing a couple things. We were providing value up front. So we had a long game and a quick game. So we would do 50-50. We'd reach out to some and do a direct offer right away. and some we're reaching out to and providing value. We would say things like, hey, if we can show you how to get this many clients, would you be open to a conversation? Well, not a lot of people at that time were doing that on LinkedIn. Now I feel like 5 years later, everyone's being pitched on LinkedIn. Like, hey,
Yeah.
it looks like we're in this, you're an entrepreneur and this, right? So we at the time were trying to find something unique. We would do that. We would provide value. We would invite them to a webinar. We'd show them something. We'd give them something of value, whether it was a lead magnet that we prefer. Hey, we want to show you this. We create this. And then we followed up. Then we'd follow up with an email saying, hey, I just connected with you on LinkedIn. And then we would take that audience and we'd pull it up. At the time, you used to be allowed to download your list from LinkedIn. There's still other ways to do it using other tools. But then we'd turn around and we'd run ads to them on Google and Facebook. So all of a sudden, like, I just heard from Joe. I got an email from Joe, and now I'm seeing ads from this company. They're kind of everywhere. And that was how we started that, taking it from one or two platforms. We'd have a conversation with them, or we wouldn't. But even if we didn't, we'd start running ads to that list. And so that was our ideal clients. And we would continue to run ads to them. And all of a sudden, like, yeah, I just saw an ad from you. And by the time they'd jump on a call with us, they seemed to know us. They had either been to a webinar, they'd been to a presentation that we did. And I would invite them to a live presentation. Hey, I'm doing a live presentation. Didn't call it a webinar. I said, I'm doing a live presentation on how you can grow your business. Would you like to attend? Right? It wasn't a pitch. It was, hey, would you like to attend? I'll show you exactly what we're doing. And I did two live webinars a day for a year. I think it was over 300 and something live webinars that we did. It was 2 a day,
Wow.
5 days a week. And some days I'd have one person there, some days zero, some days, we'd have 10, 15 people on a webinar. But it was every single day, consistent.
That's crazy. That's literally blown away my mind blown away. When you share in a day 2 webinars for a week, like
Yeah.
10 webinars in a week, it's not easy job.
No.
And even
Yeah.
one lead or 2 people inside the webinar, sometimes frustrating, sometimes demotivating, but you did it, and because of this you are, I think, big salute to you, man. That's literally huge you did. That's
Thanks.
literally yeah, because
Yeah.
people give up on just one webinar or 2 webinars. They said that I'm not getting leads, I'm not getting sales, and all of those kind of things, but you consistently did it like in Russell Brunson.com secret book. He said that do 365 days Facebook live, 365 days webinars, do something for 365 days without giving up. You're going to see the traction.
And I'll say that's huge. And for someone like me that didn't like being on camera, right? The cameras, like I'm not a showman. So for me, I would have told, if I was somebody else, I would have said automate it sooner. I was like, why are you doing that many live webinars? Automate this thing. But for me, it was beyond that. For me, I needed the reps. I needed to get practice being on the camera. I needed to be comfortable talking on a camera. I was comfortable talking one-to-one, and I felt like that. But once I got a group, it was like, this was different for me. So being live every day got me past that. There's no rewind, right? If you go live every single day, that's what Russell talks about. So I had people on there. I'd mess up. The camera wouldn't work. The slides wouldn't work. How do you get through that? If you don't have those reps, you don't have those opportunities to keep doing it and doing it, it's hard to get better. And so that's what we did every single day. And again, like you said, sometimes it was demotivating. Sometimes it was exhausting because then you got to turn around, follow up, set the appointments, and then have appointments leading up right to the next live webinar. Hanging up with somebody on the live as I'm on a Zoom call right before I'm about to do a live. You had to change the mindset, but it was what it took at the time.
Yes, that's beautiful. That's really inspiring. Thank you for sharing, man.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot. Yeah. So yes, so you got the opportunity to working with Frank Kern as well, and you mentioned how did you got exactly like after working in insurance and then in mortgage, and then you are able to get a chance to work with Frank Kern. But how exactly you got opportunity to work with him, and what was the biggest shift you found in yourself, in your business, or from after working with the Frank Kern?
Ooh, good question. So the reason I got the opportunity is at the time Frank had a CEO, and I knew his CEO. We both did some personal development. I believe in investing in myself. I had paid for mentors. We both did the same his CEO and I both did some personal development, and she said, "Hey, does anyone know of a salesperson? I know, Joe, you've got 100 salespeople. Do you have anyone in the area that can help build a sales team and get something up and running for Frank?" I was like, "I don't know, but let me. I'm actually moving to San Diego. At the time, I was in Orange County, and we were moving to San Diego. I said, hey, I'm going to be in your area." And what happened was I ended up going to a conference that he had there. He had Ryan Dice, uh, uh, he had Nicholas Kusmich. He had some big names there, and all of a sudden, like, I was emailing people. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I just was vibing off of the energy in there. And I ended up picking up. She's like, "Hey, this is a sales call. Can you grab it?" And I picked it up, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, I don't know, these funnel things, but you need to be here because Frank's doing." And I remember I ended up selling a couple people to his next live implementation workshop that weekend.
Okay.
And I was like, I didn't really know what I was watching, but the energy was enough, and the belief was there. And that's when I realized that how much of sales is the transfer of energy and the transfer of belief. You hear a lot of people talk about that, and I've learned that that's what that was, but I didn't know that's what it was. It was just like the energy. And so I learned, Frank really likes to help people, and he says, "Hey, let me help you by showing you I can help you by actually helping you." And so I think that was one of the biggest things I've learned from Frank. He always said, make offers every single day and give value. He's like, you do those things, you'll surpass the marketplace. And I repeated his words to people every single day. We make more money than anyone else because we provide more value and more offers than anybody else. And that was what I said daily. So that just stuck with me, that if you provide value and make offers, you're going to win. If you're not making offers, you're not giving people a chance to buy from you, then you're not really in business. You're just hanging out. If you're just taking courses and not taking action, if you're just reading, and so Frank will take action. He'll have an idea, he'll have it up and running in minutes. Even if he's got a whole tech team that could do it, he would do things because he knew, like, money rewards speed. So taking action fast and just moving on it and not waiting for things to happen. He made things happen. So I think those are some of the biggest lessons I learned is make offers, give value, and money rewards speed.
Wow. Money loves speed, definitely. And another best thing is I also learned from Myron Golden. What you mention is give offer. The best sale you are going to get when you are going to give offer to the world. Otherwise, you are not going to make sales. You have
Yep.
to offer. That's beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing another powerful insight from your experience. That's lovely. So, growing a business from to the point of earning a 2 comma club award is an impressive. And what were the, like, you already share the webinar strategies that you implemented and the level of success. So in this period of time, you also have a lot of limiting belief, a lot of self doubt in yourself, like whether this thing is working, whether I'm going to succeed, a lot of overthinking. So how you are dealing with this kind of situation in that point of time?
I think some people are better at it than me. I'll tell you that much. It's surrounding yourself with others that also
Mm,
believe in you, right? Sometimes you have to borrow belief from somebody else,
mm,
and sometimes that would be my spouse, right? Like, she's my biggest supporter, is my wife, and you know, having support system at home, and then beyond that, being part of a mastermind or a group of other people. Sometimes those are paid, right? And sometimes those were just people that we got together that we were already in a paid group, and we're like, hey, let's create another one. So because what happens is that self-doubt is not just you, right? I think a lot of people go through it. Some people are better at dealing with it. And I was like, okay, I'm not the only one. Okay, wipe that feeling. That's just something that we all go through and that you have to pass. It's not, I wouldn't say that I've mastered getting over it and that I just don't care and I'm just able to forge through. I still struggle. I think there's people have that, oh man, how do I look on camera? Is this going to work? What's going to happen? And so what I've learned is let the data tell you what's going to happen, as opposed to, like, I remember we would do some ads. They were dumb ads. We're like, is this going to work? This is horrible. Like, this is bad. And they would work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that worked. And then ones that we thought we put all the time, effort, energy into, and they would flop. So you have to take out the connection to that, and let the data tell you what's going to work or not. Don't guess whether you're good or not. Put it out there. Someone may love you. Your worst piece of content, someone may connect with it. Like, man, I did a bad piece of content just like that. So I think it's just putting it out there. And just, you have to not get stuck. It's, if you're stuck in it, you just got to move. Even if it's a small step, you got to move. But for me, it was being around like support from my family, wife, and then around other entrepreneurs that are going through the same thing.
Wow, lovely. Definitely. Just if you are not believing in yourself, borrow. This is also I learned from my mentors and being a part of a lot of different masterminds and all. If you are not believing in yourself, borrow the belief or become a part of mastermind where people have a hunger for growth. That's
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah, love
Yeah.
this. And you are like now this is the thing which is AI, and you are also part of the AI. Can you please pronounce the name of your company?
Yeah, so it's clickvoyant, like kind of like a
Clickvolt.
clairvoyant sees in the future. Clickvoyant, we can see into your clicks, right? We know what's going to happen because of your clicks. So
Yes. So can you please share what it is do and give us
absolutely,
some ideas about AI and how you are helping? You are
yes.
working in the AI field, yeah.
So this is interesting. So it's a bit of a passion project. It started 10 years ago, and so I
Yeah.
was doing this software 10 years ago, and it's
Wow.
evolved quite a bit. And we were able to be on the forefront of AI. But basically, it's an analytics software that doesn't just tell you how your site is doing; it actually tells you what you need to do to fix it. So if you look out there right now, there's lots of different offers that give you dashboards, they'll give you graphs, they'll give you statistics, right? But then what do you do with those? That's great that it's telling me I have a dashboard full of numbers and pretty graphs that are saying what's up and what's down. That's telling me what it's doing, but it's not telling me how to fix it. And so people used to have to hire a data analyst. So what the software does, it takes all that data that's going through the site and it plugs it through a bunch of algorithms, and then within about 10 minutes AI will spit out what you need to do to fix your website. What are the statistical significance of making an improvement on your website? What is that going to do? That's what we call it click point. It can tell you what's going to happen when you make those changes, how you're going to get an improvement on your website. So if you're out there offering leads, if you're out there doing lead generation, someone eventually is going to go check out their website. Yes, we will believe in funnels. Oh, that only one page, you don't need a website. Well, dentist needs a website, a chiropractor needs a website. So people are going to those. What's their experience once they're going to those? And it's a way for marketing companies to really understand the data beyond what Facebook and Google are telling them, beyond what YouTube and the TikTok. Those are just ads. What happens when someone gets to your site? What's the behavior? What's going to get them to convert? So the software plugs in and gives you exactly what to do. So right now we're opening that up to agencies. We were just selling it directly to the client, saying, "Hey, we can improve your website," and getting big brands in there. But now we're working with agencies to show them how to become data driven, how they can grow their business using data and AI. And it's exciting. It's a fun part. Now is an exciting part to be part of AI. I was like, we were on it. We were ahead of it, but we weren't, because it kept changing. And then Google, we're as ahead of as we were. Then Google changed from Google Analytics 3 to Google Analytics 4, and we had to reset everything 2 months ago. So it's going to keep changing, and you have to realize that you can have something laid out, best plan, and things are going to change because of AI is changing so fast and rapidly. But to be
Yes.
right now, it's exciting.
Love this, love this, love this. Thank you for sharing amazing insight. And definitely AI is something game changing. So same cross question on AI. So everybody is saying like a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and so many going things are going to happen. So what's your take on this point? Like, is people going to lose their job, lose their business, or there's a new opportunity is coming towards with the AI
Well,
for human?
you know, I believe hundreds of people are going to lose their jobs. People will absolutely lose their jobs that aren't learning how to use this powerful tool, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, um, we're all in horse-drawn carriages, and someone shows us how to use a car, and we go, no, I'm just going to stay right here in my horse-drawn carriage, right? Like it's moving us that much faster. So learning how to use it is going to help change you from everybody else, right? So I think people that'll lose their jobs are the ones that aren't learning how to have the power of it, how to just like things like Zapier was technically an AI to a certain extent, right? It was automation. That wasn't AI, it was automation, but it made things faster and easier. And there's
Mm,
tools to make things faster and easier. So why would we not use them to make things better? I do think, you know, businesses will eventually have the ability to do this on their own, but they've always had the ability to do it on their own. Do they want the time? So if you can become that person that knows how to use these tools to make your business better, use it to incorporate. Like uh, our software does the work of an analyst in 10 minutes that would normally take hours and hours and hours of deep research. So that analyst isn't gone because now they have that data in a fraction of the time. They can work with more clients. They can now do that. Their job isn't gone because they still understand what the data means. Still having someone to understand the data is helpful. So I think understanding it and then having a tool to make it faster makes you that much more valuable.
love this. Definitely, if we don't learn the tool, we are going to die.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much, Joy, for sharing a lot of insights and golden nugget with us on my show, on the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. It's really great experience talking with you. It's really fruitful conversation, I can say, we had today, and you share a lot of great insights. So, where do people can find you, connect with you for to connect with you, to talk with you more?
You know, I'll drop the link for my LinkedIn because you weren't able to find me on LinkedIn. And I'm not on a bunch of socials, but I'm getting there. You know, I am on Facebook, Joe Rizzo. I'm on Facebook, and you can look me up
Yeah.
via Clickvoyant. It's the word click and then voyant, like clairvoyant, but Clickvoyant. So it's just, you know, if someone really has a question, it's joe@clickvoyant.com. But you know, feel free to reach out. Any questions, happy to answer them. And yeah, I really appreciate you having me on the show. Great talking with you as well.
Same here, same here. And before we wrap up the show, can you do you want to share three tips to the new entrepreneurs?
I think 3 tips for new entrepreneur is in first one is enjoy the journey, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the because we want it's a micro society we all want now. So enjoy the journey. That's it sounds cliche, but you know once you realize that's a big part of it, like you know getting into common clubs and selling it wasn't as fun as getting to the two common clubs. Like, yeah, standing on the stage is great, that's gone, but the whole journey there. So
Yeah.
enjoy the journey. I'd say the other one is don't give up. You know, I think that's it. That's the other part is don't give up. If this is something you believe in and love, it's a lot easier to give up, and you only fail when you quit. So
Mm,
don't give up. Enjoy the journey. You only fail when you quit, and give it your all. Like if you're gonna do something, as my dad said, if you're gonna do something, do it all the way. Like don't dabble in entrepreneurship. It's something that takes everything you got. Doesn't mean it can't be your side hustle so it becomes your main hustle, but give it everything you got. When you're spending your time doing it, give it everything you got, and be able to look at yourself at the end of the day and know that you gave it everything you got. And I think at the end of the day, if you keep doing that consistently, you're going to find yourself in a whole different position 365 days from now.
love this. Definitely. And specifically, the second point is very important. And because every point that you mention is really important, very much important, because see, we have to enjoy the journey. And second thing is, if you, when you mention don't give up, I have this one thing from me from the day I started. When I'm going to give up, I'm going to lose the all the effort that I put from last 3 years or 4 years or whatever the time I'm doing this. Might be I'm very near to the gold mine, like in the Think and Grow Rich we have.
Yeah.
Because of giving up, I'm losing the gold mine. Yeah. Thank you so much, Joy, for sharing a lot of great tips. It's an honor to host interview with you. It's a beautiful conversation with you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. You have a wonderful one, and happy belated birthday again.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. And everyone, share your love to Joy and share your biggest takeaway in the section, in the comment section. And we are going to come up with the new interview on the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. So till then, have a great day. Bye bye. Yeah.